Oh, is that
And
the
I was
same
like,
guy
that guy's a
is that the same guy who can close grip 245?
No.
And what's his name? His name John.
Was it John or was it Mateo?
It was Mateo.
Yeah, it wasn't John.
Stop, Marleau.
No,
He's trying to dig for some shoes.
I was talking to him yesterday. He said he hit a new PR, 255 overhead press.
What?
I was like,
Shut up.
Yeah, I was like, this
That's
guy's
fucked.
250. I was like, this guy's a beast, man.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I mean, like his arms are like a foot long, so it's like not really that much. But still, that's ridiculous. I'm kidding.
That's actually kind of crazy.
Ridiculous.
It's,
That's fucking
yeah.
I can't even bench that much. That's fucked up.
No, I can't.
No, I
even-
know.
Fucking crazy.
I can barely squat that much.
Yeah, he's been gymming for a few years now. He's fucking.
That's why I can throw a frisbee so fucking
He's
hard.
my standard, you know.
That's
what-
literally just him like lightly tossing it, just like.
Yeah.
Imagine me actually put like 10% power behind that.
Yeah, man.
God damn.
Okay, but this is what I was saying. Welcome to this week's episode. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Somebody else. Somebody's.
Well, let's
What
talk
about-
about what we want to talk about today.
Wait, are we rolling?
I was
No.
still thinking because we
Yeah,
had
we'll
we had an
roll.
idea.
Oh, we are rolling?
You know, back
Yeah.
maybe like.
Well, let's talk about what we're gonna talk
So we're
about
talking
today.
about the podcast on the podcast. Ayo. You've never done
That's
before,
fucking meta.
Never seen before. Look at us fucking geniuses
Yeah,
here.
this is meta as fuck.
Tonight we
Well,
have
I mean, yeah.
tonight we have a guest speaker, Leviticus Johnson Jr.'s dog. Dude.
Leviticus.
That was actually really fun
Marleau.
watching Mantis leave through the SkyTrain doors.
So, were you
That
trying
was
to
so
be proud
sad.
of it?
That was literally like the biggest anime betrayal
It
of
was
2019.
It was some Star Wars shit, man.
It was-
You had to fight Darth Maul, the red doors.
Dun, dun, dun.
Everybody was like, stay on the train. I was like, but I live that way. I got a transfer.
Like, nah, come on.
Give me SkyTrip back later.
Is this for me?
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Well, on this week's episode, we haven't. I mean, sorry for the audience, but we haven't podcasted in about 4 weeks, I think. You
Yeah,
guys
it's
are
been months.
starving.
Has it really been that long?
They'll never know.
It was New Year's, the last episode.
No, last episode
Oh.
was on the staff party.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, a short, brief one.
It was the 12th. That was like a 0.5 episode.
No, Marleau.
That was 69.5.
I feel bad for that.
So,
no, he likes it. It's his fetish.
all right. Well, on this episode, we're gonna be talking about the age of convenience.
The age of
Oh my god, that's really close.
What?
And
Everything is too easy.
we're
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
talking
that's
about.
a fucking good one. I am excited to get into this.
Everything's too easy? Is that another
Yeah.
topic?
Wait,
That's
not
that's
like the age of convenience. Yeah.
Let's just
What is the age of convenience?
Yeah.
What is the age of
We're not gonna-
convenience?
I got
we're not-
Cassandra.
We're not gonna
I
list them
got-
off. Hey, come on! We're bleeping off the whole episode.
Hey, was someone
Synchronicity, that's something. Why candy canes? Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
let's get into it.
synchronism,
here,
the
Carl Jung.
Carl Jung. Get out of there.
Marleau.
We have
Oh, let him do
a
it.
guest dog, no, because he's gonna get the insults.
I mean, they're $15 shoes. You really think they have insoles?
I got Air Max.
never know.
They're garbage. Or not
Alright,
Air Max,
so
Let's
Air-
talk
Air
about
Forces.
what is the age of
Well,
convenience?
Mantis is right. Everything is way too fucking easy nowadays. Like, you got skip the dishes. You got fucking like weed maps. You can get weed delivered to your door within 20 minutes.
You didn't even need
All
to
you
know
have
what
to-
drug
you
dealer.
have, yeah, you don't have no drug dealer anymore. You can you want food? Within half an hour, you got food at your door. Like, what the fuck?
I
You
think
literally would never have.
You want to travel out of the country and you have a place to stay. There's hotels you can just pay a certain amount of money and you can just
and you can
live
find
there
them
safely,
instantly.
for a night. You
You
know?
want to pay for something? Tap your card. Tap your phone.
There's no concern of gang violence or anything. You know, you're in a super dangerous country. It doesn't matter. 5-star hotel, you're fine. You know.
I think it's not a necessarily evil thing to be made.
It's evil, Michael.
But no, it
already
wasn't
established our
made.
position.
It wasn't made with that intention. It wasn't made with that intention.
It could
The
be.
biggest repercussion I'm thinking is that we are getting way too lazy, and
I agree.
and we're going into like a Wall-E type vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel that.
I don't also think it's the worst thing though, because I don't want to be sending my mail on a fucking pigeon carrier. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool that we have
It's nice, but
these
imagine
instant things.
you know World War III is like knocking at our door right about now.
Corona.
Maybe we're not-
Elaborate on that. What are you talking about? World War III.
You know,
What do you think is gonna happen?
Well, I mean, Donald Trump is not exactly a genius. I don't see it going well for him. We are pretty close to the America. It might get destroyed, and us along with it.
I think
it is possible. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but
there would be no war. There would be no everyone's like, dude, when I get conscripted into the war, man, I'm gonna be like, do you guys have cell service? Do you guys have 3G internet? But the thing is, the truth is, there's not gonna be a conscription because the world is gonna be on fire because of the nukes.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's gonna be an instant. World War III is just gonna be
instant
gone.
death. Yeah.
Human extinction. And then the new species of gylophones are going to be looking at old fossils of humans and being like, damn, dude, they were getting skip the dishes.
Yeah.
We should do that.
I mean,
these guys are actually pretty smart.
Hopefully they, do some Geneva Convention shit and outlaw the usage of nukes. Just bring it back down to basics.
They have, but it's like
swords and spears.
I mean,
what were you talking about?
If we can bring it back, swords and
back
swords.
When men were men. God damn it! I said it before. I'll say it again.
You try and look at a 700 men army running at you, 200 on fucking horseback, and you look at yourself and you look at your boys behind you, and you decide, is this really fucking worth it? Are we really claiming 20 kilometers of fucking territory?
Anyone can just grab a gun and pull a trigger, but it takes a real man to look another man in the eye.
That's why.
And drive a sword through his chest.
That's why I like Mortal Kombat, because every time Aaron Black comes out with his guns, every single ninja guy is like, guns are for pussies.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck you. And then you fucking just cut his head off with a sword. But no, I don't know. I think that World War III is not inevitable. I don't think it can actually happen just because people are way too... First of all, people are too funny nowadays, and people are too realistic these days. World leaders are not very realistic. Okay, world leaders are just very power hungry, and they kind of just... It's about ego at that point. But for the everyday man, we're laughing at shit that is really fucking weird. We're laughing at weird things these days. So the chances of us not rebelling against war is pretty slim.
You really think that there weren't people the day after World War II started making jokes about Jews? You really think that wasn't happening?
No, people back in the day were just fucking dumb. I feel I don't know. They just were not as educated as we are today.
They didn't have the internet to spread what they were thinking.
Exactly.
An instant.
Dude, Kobe died today. Everyone knows within the 15 minutes that Kobe died. Within 15 minutes, everyone knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then people are making jokes.
It's not even people around him, people in the place where that helicopter crashed. Around the world, everywhere.
Good find.
Yeah.
I don't think people are more educated today than they were in the past. I mean, I think we have more access to education, and that goes towards the point of it's convenient, the convenience over what you actually are interested in. Because what do you pay attention to? Do you pay attention to everything you have access to? No, you don't. Because for the most part, when you don't have to do something, it's this shit started 10 years ago when everybody started making the joke that we all have calculators now, why do we need math class?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or I'm just trying to give an example. But fucking, you don't become more educated because education it's good that it's available to all, that's a good thing. But that's not necessarily what makes people educated. In fact, that might make people less interested in education. Okay, first of all, education's a bad example to use because it's super expensive, it's elite, it's not available to everybody. Yeah. But let's go with just information, basic information. Sorry. There's a service for everything now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically what you have is everybody wants... There's a cute dog here, and I just fucking...
He's begging for attention.
Alright, so get back on education, or...
No, but I'm just saying, people don't necessarily, because you have the opportunity for something to be available, to be done for you with everything, I think that replaces your need to ever learn it yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's like what you were talking about yesterday, because we were chilling at the bar after work, and Mantis was like, it's good that you're still in school, because he graduated 2018, right? And he's like, or 2017, he's like, I've been trying to find ways to stimulate my brain because I've been losing stimulation from learning, from education. Because But it's true though. It's definitely true. When you stop
Yeah, bro.
when you stop reading and shit, and you stop applying things.
Yeah, it comes back to age of convenience because like no one has to learn anything.
No, it's
like, you need to
instant.
know something, you just
Search it up. Kobe Bryant did. Search it up.
There's no reason any math equation you ever want to know. Just like
Yeah.
Literally just Google it.
Yeah, and
you can hey Siri.
Hey,
yeah, literally,
yeah.
literally. I think it definitely is like that could be like another thing we can talk about, just like ways to stimulate the brain, because as of now we're stimulating our bodies pretty well. Like, you know, we work, fucking lift weights and shit, and when you're working, dude, you're definitely stimulating your mind. Like there's things that you have to put in order, especially because work in a kitchen, especially when you're working online, and that is stimulating the brain, but for different reasons. For education purposes, depends what you want to learn, right? If you're trying to do math and you haven't done math since like grade 12, it's gonna be hard as fuck. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to learn how to do bed math again. I feel retarded.
You're like, what's a foil? What's a parabola?
Yeah, like what's a parabola?
Parabola.
Yeah, no, I feel kind of permed sometimes
Is that
too.
a bunch of Africans?
No, it's about Corona now.
100% though. You know those like fucking mind games that they have on the App Store, man? That fucking like not millennials, fucking like boomers use, you know, that think they they give to IQ, you know.
Yeah, like brain age for the fucking like Game Boy.
My
DS,
grandpa does that. Like
shit?
that's how. Okay, I feel like
and shit.
yeah. When you get
Not-
older,
not
you
specifically
can't
Sudoku. I
drive
think
yourself to
Sudoku.
school. You know what I mean? Like you have to find things in your life that you can stimulate your brain with. And he's been using like Sudoku on like newspapers, and he can do that shit so fast.
Yo, my grandma is the same. Dude,
Same,
she's
right?
a fucking Sudoku master.
Sudoku
Oh,
queen.
what the fuck?
I am the
Like,
I'm the slowest Sudoku player of all time, but I get it done.
But they like back to the age of convenience. Sudoku is now an app.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Because
Like-
okay, when
like you really
Honestly, if there's something you want to know, like there's an app about it. We have GPS. You don't have to go and look at a map. We got rid of phone booths. Have you seen a fucking phone booth, bud? No.
No. Well, there is one in Vancouver,
They're there.
but Superman's changing
they
in there.
probably-
Like that's the only reason he's in there.
It's fucking
Okay.
that's some hipster shit. The guy wanted Vancouver.
That's some gas town shit. Like, come on.
here's the difference. Like back in the day, if you wanted to do something and there wasn't all these services to fucking just give you food, you had to go out and get food. And then maybe you become good at fucking just like
Finding
knowing all the joints and shit. Maybe that's just a part of who you are, or you don't, and
find
you
out
just like
good
have a
mom and
shitty.
pop shops.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Nowadays, you can still do that, but you can also use Google to find it all, or
Well, the thing is,
use the services.
Then it becomes skewed.
but then it-
Exactly,
becomes skewed
exactly.
from the bots reviewing it.
our
posting
opinions aren't the
reviews and
same
shit.
anymore. They're heavily swayed by other people.
You can't have your own opinion because you're going on Google to find those reviews to figure out what other people think the best spot is based on the collective agreement.
You wouldn't go to
can't just
right now.
You can't
You
yourself.
would go
be
to
like,
a 1-star restaurant.
but it's a
You wouldn't do
completely
it.
marketed space.
Probably not.
By,
Probably not,
probably,
right?
you
But that
know,
could be the sickest restaurant.
I honestly search by like 4 stars, and up. It's like
And
I don't want
yeah.
that 3-star bullshit.
Yeah, but it's weird because if you actually go into that restaurant blind, and turns out you actually like their food, you like their service, it could just because one guy had a bad experience, and that restaurant isn't very popular. So
or because like
the whole sample
Google
is
is
lower.
fucking like it's an ad space. You know what I mean? Like these things are.
Sorry, I didn't understand how distracting
Well, our
this
guest
guy
is
would be.
aggressive.
Yeah. He is very sexually aggressive. Sit. Yeah,
But-
sorry.
Yeah, you gotta cut his balls
But
off.
yeah,
Mantis, you gotta simmer down.
yeah, I know. The mantis pheromones are coming out.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's very sexually aggressive. Anyways, continuing on.
All I'm saying is nowadays you have a lot of people that do like do it yourself
Yeah. Fine restaurants.
attitudes, and like I'm one of those people that I like DIY, and not because I actually always like doing this stuff, but I think that it's nice to make that a part of your personal like ability, like you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
not to depend on services all the time, but to feel the
Satisfaction.
basically just like something is rewarding when you work for it. There's that basic thing, you know what I mean? It's like a food is better when you cook it for yourself than when somebody else cooks it for you.
It tastes better.
This is true.
It's because it's like climbing that
But
mountain,
no, it's more rewarding. It has
Yeah.
the chance to be more rewarding.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's
You
a
go
better
through-
meal if you suck at cooking. But
it would
it's
feel
not-
better.
There's
It
an
would feel
aspect
better.
of more rewarding if you
personal-
forage
just
for your
personal-
goddamn apples.
Yeah, there's personal
You know what I mean?
satisfaction. You feel good about yourself.
Apple juice.
What?
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
I gotta say, fucking grape juice is my favorite.
What was this Cassandra topic you wanted to
No,
talk about?
no.
What does he
Come
even
on,
want to talk about?
We're not even going there.
Shane
We're not
just
even
doesn't
going
want to
there.
talk about it because he knows he
Not
has so
even,
much
not
to
even
say.
going there. This whole fucking 2 minutes is getting bleeped out, but I would pop the fuck off. Not happening if we start talking about it. I'm not gonna shut up. So
Should we
not
just start
talking
talking
about
shit about
it.
everyone?
Yeah, dude. I'm not talking.
I want to talk about what I want to talk about. The Jung theory.
Yeah, no.
Marleau.
You guys had a little fucking like.
Oh,
I
no.
know what you're talking about. I have
It's-
no idea. I'm out of the loop here. What's going on?
It's a psychological
I'll read a
perspective.
definition here.
It's actually really interesting.
Okay, so me and Michael were talking about this at the bar.
Dude, I can't believe they didn't play that song.
Okay, so look at us up in our podcast game.
Bruno's pulling it up. Jamie,
Jamie?
son of a bitch. Bruno, we fired him last week. I'm sorry if I bring up any sour fucking feelings here, Bruno. It's all right. We got Jamie. He's much better. Jamie.
Okay,
What's
so
the
here we have synchronicity is
He has
a
a bigger cock than
concept.
Bruno too.
Okay,
We're gonna
synchronicity.
bleep that out.
Basically, we got to talking about it. And do you guys believe in this? So synchronicity is a concept first introduced by Carl Jung, which holds that events are meaningful coincidences if they occur with no causal relationship, yet seem to be meaningfully related.
Essentially,
It's like a coincidence.
it's like a coincidence, but it's also what's the theory called synchronicity? It's also about how people are on the same wavelength because we're as a race we're just kind of that way.
So here we go.
I
This
feel
this
just
will
like,
make more
this
sense.
guy's just like making a big deal about being a part of the same species, you know, and having like the same kind of like
Yeah. Well,
primal natural like instincts and feelings. You know?
okay. Well, here we go. The simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related, but have no discernible causal connection. So when you see a coincidence, do you think this is just simultaneous occurrence of events that are appearing significant with each other, but actually have no connection?
The way I was thinking about it last night when you were telling me this was I was thinking that the reason that people think about coincidences and make them such a big deal is because our brains like to categorize different parts of life and they put it together very easily. Like, you know the face on the moon? You know how there's like that 2 asteroid craters and it looks like a face on the moon? It's not actually a face, but humans are really good at looking at faces. It's what keeps us alive, you know? When you're in a jungle and you see like a cat's eyes, you're like, fuck, I'm going that way, right? It's what keeps us alive. So we are really good at making these coincidences seem like they're actually relevant. Because it keeps us alive. If we didn't find patterns in life, it would be pointless, right? If we couldn't find these like meaningful coincidences, then life would just be meaningless. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Like the reason our brain categorizes these things is because it wants to put it into a bunch of bins and make sense of life. Because if it isn't making sense of life, then what are we really doing? You know?
I feel like I don't know that is kind of like, you know, something that we definitely do, you know, but I try to maintain the mind frame of like coincidences don't happen, you know, like everything kind of fucking happens, not for like a reason, but you know, like there's some
they don't
there's some-
exist.
there's some,
Coincidences aren't real.
yeah, you know, like there isn't some fucking like background meaning, like it's just it's nothing that happened and you're just thinking a bunch about it because, you know, you're playing too much into it, you know.
Yeah.
You're thinking too much about it. It's I don't know.
I think that
I think it's a lot more black and white.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think that.
agree.
I don't
Think
think
about
that
coincidence.
everything.
There are crazy things that do happen, but that's just because a lot of like emotion and feeling is involved, and you're like surprised by it. But I don't truly feel that like coincidence is everything, you know.
It's okay.
Like crazy shit happens,
No.
and you're freaked out by it. But it's like
Hey.
I don't know. You know.
Right?
It's like I don't know. I
There's
think
always going to be some concrete evidence.
well,
behind when
that's like the thing. Like there is people who think coincidences are empirical. Like they'll be like, oh, there's a natural phenomenon, like this lake is here because people were here. That's the coincidence, right? And they're trying to like rationalize these things, but a lot of these things aren't actually real. And like what Kirsten was saying about how a lot of these experiments, these psychological experiments, are now being redone and getting debunked. There's one where if you put a pen in your mouth, it correlates to you forcing yourself to smile, and people would take a test after and rate themselves higher on a happiness scale compared to a group that didn't have a pen.
Yes, no, I heard about this.
You heard about that, right?
Yeah.
But they tried that again recently, and it got flawed. It was debunked, right? But these coincidences are just that, mere coincidences. Like, if you put you can explain it psychologically. You're not actually forcing yourself to smile with a pen. You're just physiologically making your mouth wider.
You're just using like the
you know what I mean?
muscles.
Yeah, you're just
you
using
use to smile. So it,
yeah,
it
and that's
kind of tricks your brain into thinking. But it's like
they've kind of debunked that theory. But also it could just be down to individual difference. Like if I was to smile with a pen, I might feel happy. If you did, you wouldn't, and that would skew the results, right?
Yeah,
These coincidences are always happening. They're always flying around, but it's very subjective, you know. It's like we're categorizing different things of these coincidences, and they might not even be true.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of the time you might. It depends how you think, really.
Yeah.
Because I noticed
Depends
that
how you were raised.
I noticed that like I only notice coincidences and the weirdest coincidences if I'm in the frame of mind to be noticing them at all.
Was it
like
the clock? You kept looking at the clock, and it was either 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that like that's superficial, but like also okay. So there's two ways of looking at that example. Either I've got this sixth sense which makes me aware of the time. Like I have a biological clock that's been warning me to take a look at the time at those specific times, and it's not a coincidence. Or it's a coincidence that I've always remembered the time because it's been those numbers, and I don't remember it when I look at it otherwise.
Or it's your brain just, like the first one was what you're saying, like your brain just knows that it's that time subconsciously, and it's like, oh, time to look at the clock because it's 3 to 1.
You know?
I have a lot of those. Like I'll be thinking, like I'll be walking, and then I'll just be like, dude, it feels like 3:25 right now. Take out my phone, it's like 3:24. I'm just like, shit, dude.
Yeah.
My brain's working in the background, like chilling over here,
and for me, it's like, okay, like my dad one time had the weirdest. I could see in his eyes that he did not understand what was going on because for some reason, I'm sitting at home. I get the idea. I want to buy a wall mount for my guitar. I get up. I go buy a wall mount. I come home. I'm like, where's your drill? I fucking drill it in my wall, and I'm like, Dad, look what I did. And I show him my wall mount. This came out of me out of nowhere, and I took the initiative. And then my dad was just like, kind of tripping out. And I look at him, and he's like, I was just in an apartment yesterday admiring these wall mounts, and it's weird. I was thinking about them, and then here you are just, why did you... And I'm like, I don't know. It just came to me. And it's like, that was like a coincidence. Mm-hmm. But also, I think there's more. I think that there also is... You are more connected with people on wavelengths that
it's
you are.
Yeah, it's what Joe was talking about. It's because
when you're around someone, I think he's saying that you're ascribing meaning to it, right?
Yeah, with other people, but those coincidences are they're all tied together between our race.
Yeah,
but like if your dad's thinking about that too, that could just be a product of your household. You know what I mean? Like you guys have just been like talking about wall mounts maybe like last month.
No, we never did.
We never did.
Guaranteed.
Never happened.
Are you sure?
Hey Dad, you should get a wall mount.
Yeah, when you were a kid, you
went
by music and were like, wow, Dad, look at those wall mounts. They're really nice.
I had a wall mount. I had a wall mount like that, and my guitar fell and fucking landed on its ass, and now some of the pickups don't work.
Oh no.
On my other guitar, I had to like rewire it. Like,
yeah, so for me, I'm just like...
Moral of the story, don't trust wall mounts.
I'm open-minded to
a lot of
going
different
on.
things.
I'm like, I think there's some creepy stuff where it's like, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Wall mounts.
No, I feel like I feel the opposite. I feel like it's all just kind of like mob mentality. You know, you're like thinking about it, and the other person can just kind of read what you're feeling, and then they start thinking about it. I don't feel like there's any sort of like... Mm-hmm. You know, weirdness about it. Just like, oh, that was super random.
You can make a coincidence out of everything. Like the Vsauce video where it's like...
I love coincidences.
The speed of light is also the top, the coordinate on the top of the Pyramid of Giza. is also
What?
3.01s of whatever it is, and it's like
Ooh.
to the decimal.
That's fucking crazy.
And then you're like,
Holy
all these people are like,
shit.
dude, the fucking ancient Egyptians were onto the speed of light before we even knew it. It's like, nah, not really, because the speed of light is actually 2.97, and then they found that the decimals were the exact same as the Pyramid of Giza, but the Pyramid of Giza, you can put it at any point would technically be the top, you know what I mean? So they had they put it at the exact point that it was.
Oh, bitch.
I'm in.
Yeah, sorry, boy. I didn't think he was gonna be this much of a fucking hassle. Did you have like cloth or something?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, my dog is an asshole.
Marleau strikes again.
God damn it, Marleau.
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
Nah, he's okay. I love coincidences. I find that people often get stuck if they can't explain a coincidence, though. They'll be like, this is the only way.
Yeah, it comes down to like stubbornness. Like, my mom's pretty stubborn, and she's always like, "This is right because this is right, and it's always been this way." And it's like, I don't know, like things change, man. We're going into World War III.
Things change. Everything
We're going.
changes.
We're
You son of a bitch, I'm in. Do you know what branch of psychology he's from, Jerome? Does it say what kind of psychologist he is?
I mean, he was like the pupil of Sigmund Freud.
Oh, so he's
Psychoanalytic.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to, like, people still believe in, like, psychoanalytic theory, which essentially is, to the viewers, psychoanalytic is, like, talking about Freud, where he's talking about, like, the id, the ego, the superego. So the id is, like, what every human desires, like sexual attraction, things that we need human, like we need food, we need these things, we need to fight, we have an ego to do that. And then the ego is yourself trying to control what the super ego is trying to control the id, and then your ego is trying to find a balance between pleasure and control. And people are still applying these theories today, like which I think is kind of outdated, because these are just concepts that are floating out in the air. They're not real concepts, right?
Yeah.
Like, the id isn't something you can grasp at.
Well, it's pretty hard also to just solidify one of those as like what's actually happening within your own mind, because everyone is so different, right?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of.
I mean,
that's generalization.
Because once you
know,
accept
and I
that's
really
the
agree with
thing, you're gonna start to. Once you accept that that's what's going on, the next thing you're probably gonna do is start seeing how it's not that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, go with what helps you focus on reality, but notice that all concepts are never actually reality. You know what I mean? It's an analogy, and that stuff still makes sense to me more than.
But it's all about describing behavior. It's all about describing behavior, right? Like how our mind is making us do certain things, right? And I feel like
our minds are making us do things.
But to think about something that you can't even really grasp at, like the id, is such a hard concept to even fathom about. What I like to think about better is like behavioralism or conditioning, because that's actually like proven behavior, right? A dog, you ring a bell, it'll start salivating after a few times you ring a bell and you present food, right? But like that's a concept that you can actually truly see. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like it's proven by like instinct, you know. So and it's
for sure.
It brings it down to like we're also animals, so like we have
those needs and those those tendencies.
Yeah, so if you like train us to kind of like rely on those, you know, with like bells or whatever, it's like we are going to respond.
And there's even
so it is extremely fucking.
There's classical conditioning and operant conditioning, and operant conditioning is like positive and negative stimuluses based on our intrinsic needs. So when you're like an example of negative reinforcement is when you you're in your car and you don't put your seatbelt on, so it starts beeping. Your car starts beeping. So as soon as you put it's reinforcing your behavior to put your seatbelt on, because you're getting rid of that stimulus. You're getting rid of that annoying chime. So it's negative reinforcement is taking away something. So when you're in your car and your fucking things beep and you're like, shut the fuck up, fine, I'll put my seatbelt on, you're actually helping yourself, because you're not gonna die. You know what I mean? Like you're actually helping yourself.
Oh.
You don't like seatbelts?
Useless.
I mean, it increases your chances of dying of cancer.
I feel like
Seatbelts?
I feel like that's just car companies, you know, using like another way to sell their car to you. I don't.
The beeping?
Like,
What? Seatbelts save people. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But like,
fuck
if you're gonna, it's
You're
your
anti-seatbelt. I never knew that.
It's your choice at the end of the day, you know, to choose whether to put a seatbelt on or not.
Yeah.
If beeping is gonna fucking stop you, then like you're just fucking
It
weak-minded
stopped.
person.
No, dude, it stops. Dude, after because mine goes like this, and it goes beep. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. And then after 2 minutes, it'll go beep beep beep. And I'm like, okay, you're getting weird. And then it goes beep 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 beep, and it won't shut up. So I was talking to my girlfriend's dad about this, and he's like this old British dude, and he's just like, oh yeah, man, I took that out a long time ago. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, man, I don't wear a seatbelt. I like strip the alarm out. I'm like, what? He runs without a seatbelt because he took out the wiring for the chime. I'm like, dude, what kind of reinforcement is that? That's some crazy shit.
You're looking for some tickets, but
I mean, I feel like, you know, it would be really good for the population problem if they just start making cars
Without seatbelts.
I can't
We
deny
already-
it does save people's
do
lives,
have a-
but I mean, like, if it's
people still
it's a
die in
choice.
cars all the time with seatbelts on. So.
And they give
Yeah.
you cancer, so.
Wait, what do you mean they give you cancer? What
They
is
do.
this?
Maybe we need more of those Teslas that fucking
Suck your dick on the
start
highway.
to go off the fucking cruise control.
Talking about the side
They go off
jobs.
route
Yeah.
a little bit.
If a Tesla, because you know how it has that autopilot function. If a Tesla, here's a riddle or a life choice, I don't know. If a Tesla is on autopilot and a guy runs out in front of the road, will it try to swerve out of the way to save the guy, but potentially hurt you, or will it try to save you, the driver, and hit the guy? What will if
Black Mirror's gonna be listening and steal
steal the idea. But if the Tesla, because the Tesla is designed to be the most safe thing for the driver, but it also, does the computer calculate for human life? Or is it just calculating to save the car?
I mean, I feel like that
Only-
car would
I mean,
just-
there's just
No, but like if the car, if it was a
I
hypothetical,
don't think it's a riddle.
Who
It's a
knows,
machine.
right?
They give it probabilities and algorithms for that shit.
for like a potential hazard in the road.
Yeah, they probably just calculated it to like.
But if it got to a point where it couldn't brake, and it came down to a split decision,
I think
what
they
would the computer do?
Whoever manufactures the car is probably gonna say like, fucking,
They're getting a lawsuit.
Keep the people in the car.
Look it up, but right now only Elon Musk knows.
But that's
They're going
that's
according to
the
law,
ease of convenience.
they're not building cars
We're still
for
talking about
roads
that.
with ducks crossing. You know what I mean? They're building cars for roads with no ducks crossing.
Yeah.
So
You
I
talk
can tell
about
you the answer is sucks for the guy that fucking crossed the road.
I would have to say I would hope the car plays in my favor and just fucking runs the guy over. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
and
would
then it
not
doesn't
want
cut
the car
you.
swerving fucking oncoming and just
Yeah.
risk my life, man. If I'm paying for that shit, I don't want the autopilot to kill me. That's a shitty way to go.
That is a shitty way to go.
That's why everyone should just stick to fucking gas, drive your car yourself, and you won't have these problems.
Mhm.
You can make the decisions yourself, and you won't have to rely on a goddamn robot. Gotta say, Denmark is doing some good things with their fucking no gas emission cars being built by 2025 or some shit. Might be a bit earlier than that, but
It's happening.
drive your own goddamn car.
Don't let the robots take over. Drive your own fucking car.
I don't think robots could ever take over. I'm probably the only one here that thinks that though.
Robot can.
Dude,
I definitely think robots can take
I don't
over.
think
What the
robots
fuck
can
are you
take
talking
over.
about?
I
I don't think it's possible because like you program a machine.
I feel like they kind of already have taken over. They're not.
What?
I was talking about my grandpa with this thing. Like he's like his English isn't very good, but I was trying to explain what artificial intelligence was to him. I'm like, yeah, we're kind of there, but it's programmed by humans. Like,
And that's what it'll be.
computers
Always be.
aren't. Yeah, but computers can't think for themselves yet. Computers can't think for themselves
They
yet.
never will.
The technology, bro.
But I don't think they
can
will.
get there,
And
man.
I was
I
telling
think
him,
it
and he's
can
like,
get there.
I think they will. And I'm like, you're very
100%.
wise to think
I
that.
agree with your
You're very
grandpa.
wise to think that. And I'm like, listen, grandpa,
Why?
we
Because
have
that's what you
Siri.
think?
We have Siri, but Siri can only say a million different things. Siri can't think about what she's gonna have for dinner.
Siri does
what I mean?
what you instruct Siri to do. What Apple instructs Siri to
Exactly.
do.
And I'm saying
Yeah,
saying artificial intelligence is not yet there, but it is ex machina.
Dude,
type beat.
I don't know. I feel like there's some really scary AI out there. You know,
Yeah.
because
That we don't know about.
There is
Siberia in a shack.
Just
Just
like-
doing some fucking
there was
crazy
something
shit.
that we came up with, the Turing test, which is, you know, where if
Yeah.
AI can talk to a human, and if the human can discern whether it's a robot or a human. And if it fails, right? If the human can't tell that it's a human, then it passes. And if it can be like, oh, that's a robot, then it fails.
That's the whole premise.
And there's a robot that is.
But can it tell if it's talking to a robot or a human?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
That's the whole premise of Blade Runner.
If the human can tell that it's talking to a robot, then it passes, or then it fails. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
But there's a robot that has passed that test now. So I feel like we're only like 10 years away from robots being able to know so much more because they're all hooked up to the fucking internet, man.
I mean, whether or not you can fucking fool a person with a robot doesn't mean that a robot can run our lives, dominate us, and have free will. And that's still a program. Like, it's responding to instructions. So it'll never be something.
Well, no.
The comparison that I would use is like
it's responding to instructions and like it thinks for itself.
Yeah,
like,
we're not there yet. But if it becomes that problem, then the thing is, there's no safety net because if a computer can think for itself, it can think for itself. It's basically a human at that point.
No, it's not a human. But what I think is that like it's
above,
the difference between
like
a
recipe.
smarter.
It's almost like the next evolution of a human because we created that, then it has become better than us.
Great. Wait. First off, great Turing test movies. Her, Blade Runner, Ex Machina.
The old Blade Runner, by the way.
The old Blade Runner. Yeah. But those all talk about.
Wait, what do you say? The second one was her.
Her and Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
Have you seen that one?
No, I actually haven't seen the old
one.
Go
fucking watch it.
I've seen the new one, but not the old one.
Oh, okay. I was talking about the new one. The one with General Hux and Oliver Twist. Okay, I respect you, never neglect you.
If you have a AI or whatever, okay, it can follow a recipe. A computer will always follow the recipe.
Are they trying to take our jobs or what's going on?
No, what I'm saying is like, if you're a cook,
you're saying like there's some sort of like logic bomb you can put into it.
I want to say something next after this, but
I'm just saying that it will always do what it's No, it's not. It will always do what it's programmed to do. You know what I mean? If you program it to follow recipes, it'll follow those recipes. But you making that artistic dish as a cook is different than what the robot's doing. The robot will follow the recipe. If you train it to create recipes, it'll create recipes. But what I'm saying is it'll never take control of its own program. Yeah. It can't program itself. That'll always be up to us.
Well, what I wanted to say to follow that is I took an econ class and we were talking like the whole term. This one theme was like
the dog
it was about robot jobs and like the future for jobs. And then there was a whole list of potential jobs that were going to be taken by that were going to just be completely useless. And one of them was just like dishwasher, cook. And I was like, kind of like, what cook? How does that go? And then he was explaining, he's like, jobs that are artisan based and have like a human human thing, because computers are really good at human flavor. But computers are really good at tasks, right? They're really good at systematic tasks. So like loading a dishwasher would be a piece of cake for them.
No, it used to be.
But humans are really good at creating things. Computers can't create things yet. So jobs like cooking at the highest level would never be replaced because humans can create these things. We might not be as fast as these computers, but we have that level of innovation that computers will never have.
Yeah, unlike SpongeBob versus Neptune.
Exactly. This right here. This what's up.
On like a corporate scale, yeah, for sure. Like robots take over, but yeah, when like chefs are at the top of the game and they're just like doing what they want to do. For sure.
When they're not Palladinoing it up. Beep, beep, beep.
Oh man.
Yeah, no. I think
Palladino was more chill than our new show.
Yeah, you have very mixed opinions.
You've been feeling that for a while now.
I worked with him yesterday.
Yeah.
What did he say? Guys, we saved $8,000 in labor costs, and then Mantis is like, "That's $8,000 I'm never gonna see again." and then he kind of looked at him like,
I was like, I get paid by the hour. You telling me you cut the hours?
Beep this whole part out. But he was watching, because me and Matt were just bottom end,
and then him and Spencer were top, and he was just watching Mantis like a fucking hawk.
He was just like sniffing at my balls the whole shit.
Hey, I like what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. I like what you're doing. But there's a faster way to do that. Did you know that?
No, not faster. You never told me faster. It was always the most like ridiculously small detail you could imagine. It was like, hey, do you always shake the breading off over the garbage? And I'd be like, yeah, because I don't want to put it in the fryer. And he'd be like, okay, so, you know, I'm not trying to say that like you're like Chris Holgate. If you want to shake that over the fryer instead of in the fryer, you know, it's just for like food costs. You know? So if we talk about food costs, we say small penny here, small penny there. You know, and I'm gonna try to bust your balls. Blah, 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 and I'm just like already not paying attention.
He would always like, it was a backhanded compliment each time because he goes, look, you're really fast. Like, I really like you. But I don't want you to be like Chris. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like roasting Chris the whole night.
Yeah, he basically just says, don't be like Chris.
Yeah. He's like, I know some of you guys
He's just not like Chris.
notice Chris's cutting corners. And he's like really going into detail. But nah.
Oh my god.
I like
good
him.
impression, man.
I like
So
him.
it's
I like him.
Top notch, man.
He was getting on Byron's ass the other day about crouton placement on salads.
What did he say? They have to fall naturally or something?
Dude,
They have
I
to
don't
be
even
organic.
know. Dude, I don't even fucking know.
Try and picture you're plucking these croutons from a tree. Just place them on the salad like they're growing naturally.
It's gotta look natural.
Let's be organic. We only have organic fed croutons here.
What? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this month is flying by. It's already February. Isn't that fucked up? These time gets only quicker, man.
Oh, well, it's nice to be podcasting again for once, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, are we gonna wrap it up here?
I think we can talk about one more
Talking
thing.
about from a thing.
We
I
only
thought
really
a topic I
talked.
would cover.
We only really talked about that one topic, convenience, and then switched over to Cassandra,
synchronism.
and then quickly dodged out of that. Fucking.
Before a bomb exploded.
And then
I think
and then we just segued into our own little classic fucking natural term that we put in there.
Wow.
Putting Mantis in the Potheads.
Those critical YouTube comments write themselves, man.
I think if computers were to take over, this is a hypothetical, we would all be trapped in like a VR type B, like
The Matrix?
like the Matrix. Like if computers were smart enough, they would put us into farms where we'd all be like living our best life in a VR simulation.
I mean,
Because then they wouldn't have to deal with us. Then we would be under their control. But that's all very far away from now.
nah, man, it's gonna be the apocalypse. Cities are gonna fucking rise up on hydraulic legs. They're gonna take us all out one by one.
Yeah, man. I'm not excited for that.
It's gonna be great.
So
Although-
have you guys watched the new Terminator movie? It seems like you have.
Have you?
What
No,
the fuck
no.
is Terminator?
Who's Terminator?
To terminate you, fucking,
It's
Arnold
terminal?
Schwarzenegger.
I don't know about you guys.
Whoa.
The new movie Dark Fate came
Didn't
out.
Bruno say he'd be here today?
He is still in there.
No, he's
He's
working.
still on his way.
He's working.
He's gone.
I don't know. All my friends have been. I don't know if we're just talking about computers, but they've just been building computers recently. Like we were all into computers a few years ago, but now they're all getting into computers, and I'm like the only one who hasn't been getting back into it. And I'm like,
Don't
dude,
do it. Don't do it.
That's what I'm thinking,
I gotta
like-
say it. You just need to have that, like, one or two couple friends, right? That can do it for you.
Yeah.
Or that can give you the advice. You don't need to know it yourself. Don't.
But no,
don't
it's just like
invest yourself-
untrouble
Don't
yourself.
invest
they're
yourself into
they're
that.
spending
a lot
like
of it is just
grand on a computer. Which I'm like, dude, I don't know how the fuck everyone is like dropping this amount of money on computers right now. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I feel like you gotta wait until VR comes out and then actually maybe invest some money, because VR's come out, it's pretty alright, but it's
I've never tried
it's
it
not
actually.
nothing.
I've never tried it. I really want to.
You should
Yeah,
try
man.
it, but as soon as you try it, like in like 2 or 3 years,
It's gonna be top notch.
It's just gonna be fucked, man.
There's some really cool VR games actually. There's like a lot of people who modded Fallout 4 for VR, and it's sick.
Oh shit! Right?
It's actually really really cool.
Like Beat Saber.
Yeah, Beat Saber is dope.
Beat Saber's sick as fuck. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the just like motion controls, like how you dash around instead of just like walking around. Like I don't know.
They should make
You need
You can't because you need a controller.
Buy like a walking pad or some shit.
Yeah.
Like you're like hoping it's like some Sword Art Online shit where it's like you're just like fully immersed.
Yeah.
In the world and you're just like, that would be fucking cool, actually.
There was like the first. I remember the first VR glimpse of VR was when Battlefield 3 came out. I don't know when 2011 maybe. I don't know when that was, but when Battlefield 3 came out, this one guy set up a rig and like he was like, I don't know, it's some weird documentary, but he got like a Navy SEAL to play the first mission. And basically he played it on veteran and he dude literally they had 360-degree paintball guns aimed at him, and every time they programmed it so every time he got shot in the game, a paintball would fire at the direction he got shot at.
Oh shit.
So it would like quickly make it so he was trying not to get shot the whole time, and he completed the mission, but it was like 40 minutes for the first mission, but he was like tactical like the whole time, and he's like, hey man, that was pretty close to real life. Except for the lens flares, but that was pretty close to real life. And like that was the first kind of VR
That's pretty dope.
esque thing. But like that seems like more advanced than what we got right now.
Well, yeah, if you can have fucking multiple direction paintball guns aimed at you,
Yeah.
it's ready to fire. But as soon as they get to the fucking like, oh shit, I can't remember the movie. It's like iGamer or some shit where the guy's wearing like a haptic suit where like it shocks him when he gets fucking hit in that place. As soon as we get to like that level of technology where it fucking shocks you when you get hit in that kind of place, I'm not gonna fork over any money.
And you're out.
We are bullshit. Yeah.
And you're out.
I mean, the race car stuff they got going on, where you can like
Racing
sit
sims?
in a chair with
Oh,
the fucking
those are
with
sick.
the controller with the fucking dual axis like hydraulic
Oh,
powered
yeah.
fucking
Mhm.
chair, man.
Yeah,
That's legit.
But that could give people PTSD because
we
they
gotta go test my car.
if they crash, they're fucking crashing through their fucking TV. Like
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
You do without the fucking broken limbs, so it's all right.
Fair enough.
You're like, oh, it feels bad.
till the robot car kills you.
You're not sitting in a hospital.
Till the robot car airbags deploy, and you're like, what? Is this real? Fuck that.
And on to our next topic of Cassandra.
No. Where's your list?
Cassandra this week, boys.
Where's your list?
We're gonna have
That was the last item on this list.
We're bleeping
I
out
also
the
had
last
why candy canes, which I'm not that motivated to talk
Just-
about anymore
That's
for some
it, just
reason.
why can't
Okay, so why
Why
candy
that
canes?
shape, man?
Why that phallic shape?
It
Because
doesn't, it doesn't fit.
What
in
do you
your
mean the
mouth.
phallic shape?
It's a God damn it.
It's okay.
why did I fucking bring them?
It's a cane.
Are you from
cane.
that?
Like you know, like
Yeah,
a cane, like what old people love.
Yeah, what do you
That's what it is.
what are you
That's
talking
the shape.
about?
It's a cane, but it's made of cane.
Damn, son. Okay.
Oh, it's not too shabby.
Somebody want a beer?
I still got one. But thank
I
you.
got a little bit left.
I feel like that guy Kaylin or Isabel spilled ginger fucking ale on. She spilled ginger ale on this customer, and he got like a burn meal.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But he was wearing like light pants, so it looked like he pissed himself. That's why I'm glad I opened the back.
So we're not drinking Coronas, but we were supposed to this week
Yeah.
because actually there's been some cases around Newport of a new Browns virus.
Alright, so let's.
And
Don't say that,
Let's
man.
talk about
They apparently it's just like the flu, but everybody is fucking freaking out.
Well, it's like this thing. It's like moral panic. Like, remember when Ebola was just being talked about nonstop? It's a virus, you know. It's a thing that is gonna eventually pass through. It's not like SARS. We are educated. When SARS was around, the only reason it spread so much is because people weren't educated, and I guess that goes into the ease of
Panic.
not the ease of panic, but the ease of the internet. Everyone knows now. So
I don't know why I said panic.
they're less they're less inclined to not know about it. You know what I mean? Like the first day it came out, SFU had like a wide email thread, and they're just like,
cough into your fucking shoulder. Please don't cough into your hands, and we'll be fine. Like, you don't have to bring these masks and shit. And like, even the white kids are wearing masks. And it's like, dude,
It's not even for sale.
first off, there hasn't even been a
big.
confirmed case in Canada yet till today. And like, why are you blaming all these foreign Asian dudes who are from Korea? They're not even from China.
They were
Like-
already wearing Hello Kitty masks.
Yeah, no, dude, I was in class and this like Korean kid coughed and they're like, fuck, he has corona. I'm like, dude, he's from Korea. He's not even from China. Shut the fuck up. They're just blaming all these international students.
I don't know if it's because it's so early as well, or it's because it's a weak ass virus. But the coronavirus has the least mortality rates out of all the viruses that have come up recently, like swine flu and Ebola. It is the weakest.
The thing is,
And Ebola was pretty weak too.
it sounds like it actually sounds like a scary thing.
There's only 50 deaths, or like 55 about so far.
In
right now.
Wuhan, not even in America.
Yeah.
And it's
like total in China.
and it's the thing is when my mom was explaining it, viruses to me are just like the scariest shit because it's like the unmasked killer who can kill you from within you. And viruses, they need to live on a host, which sounds scary as fuck. But
So do I.
if it oh god.
Speaking of,
But if it doesn't have a host, if it doesn't have a human contact, then the virus will die out, right? But this virus is actually pretty smart because it just has to be inhaled, and then you're done. Like, you have it, you know what I mean?
I'm picking up what you're putting down, but how recent did you watch the Parasite movie? Come on.
What Parasite movie are you talking? The Terminator movie?
Moses Jones.
No, that motherfucker ate an egg off the floor. Fuck him, dude. Bill Murray. You think you're all that. Osmosis Jones is a very good movie.
No, but actually, this Wuhan virus has some coincidental timing with the Parasite movie that has just come out.
What movie are you talking about?
Bong Joon-ho. It's a Korean movie that has come out and it's won quite a few awards, and I think it's on Netflix. It's been translated into English, and it's just like one of the most popular fucking movies out right now. I can't
Is
believe
it?
you guys haven't even heard of it.
Bong Joon-ho.
Is this
Bong
like-
Joon-ho.
Is this like when the Train to Busan was like the craziest movie?
No. Train to Busan hasn't even rivaled. But
Okay.
Bong Joon-ho.
You know the Grammys are on tonight?
Yeah.
Speaking of
You don't say.
things. You're not a big fan, I get it. Hey, I don't watch the Grammys either, I just wanted to put it out there.
Shit, I didn't know. I'm sorry, Michael.
Huh?
I should have thought.
You should have known, man. You should have known. Lil Nas X is getting an award. Dude, my grandma was talking about Lil Nas X, and he was like, "Have you heard the song Old Town Road?" And she's like, "There's that young, handsome black fellow." And I'm like, "Okay, first off, we're in a restaurant. That's very outdated." And she's just like, she's very Asian. She's very innocent. She didn't mean it, but she's like, "Little Nas X and Billy Cyrus?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Horse to the Old Town Road." I'm like, listen.
Bro, how do you not fucking record that shit?
Listen, I'm listen. You don't have to call him that handsome young black fellow. You can just call him that rapper. And she's like, "I can't say black fellow?" I'm like, no, don't say that. Don't say that in public. She's like, "Yeah, he's such a young, handsome black man." I'm like, just say handsome man. Don't say black. It's like if someone said, "Oh, that Asian fellow." I guess it's not as taboo for some reason. I don't know. It shouldn't be. It really is weird stigmatization.
I mean,
It's like you can say white guy.
He is black. I mean, I don't see that.
I feel like
He's light-skinned.
white and black are worse than
Asian, Indian.
Asian's a place.
I-
White isn't.
Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying there,
Yeah.
actually.
I'm picking up your foot now.
I feel that.
There's less good bad connotation than like black.
Yeah, it's less of a place,
you
more
said that
less
with
of a
such
place, more of a
disgust.
color. All right, boys.
That was a demonstration.
Everybody got their masks for tonight?
My Hello Kitty mask on for the Korean Wuhans. Come on, bro, stop spreading it, man. I was in like my dinosaur class, and the guy sitting next to me was like, and then he reached into his bag and put a mask on. I was like, shit, man.
Yo, bro, it's real out here.
No, I don't think there's anything to worry about. As long as you're like
Yeah,
Just
don't
got
drink
get like
Coronas and
just
you're
get
fine.
yeah. What did Trump say? I'm banning the Corona plantations for those Mexicans bringing the coronavirus in. Fuck off.
Honestly, I was saying
This is why I want to build that.
I was saying this to my homies before, and honestly, just grab a bunch of fucking painkillers, hospital, just start dosing everybody, get everybody nice and medicated, let it all blow over, man, it'll be fine.
See, why can't we just do that with every crisis?
I mean, I don't, the few that fall, well, I mean, we could deal with like a bit of decrease in our population.
Yeah,
anyways,
that's what I'm saying.
So.
It's only ever rising, man.
We need a new bubonic, man.
We got what, like 9 billion people on the planet now?
8
Something.
something.
8, bro.
Almost.
I swear to God, it was 7.3 2 weeks ago.
You know you know the Australian wildfires?
They're all Indian or
Didn't
Chinese.
kill any people, right? Just
Well, I think it actually killed. There's like a low amount of human casualties, but
Half of them.
3 billion animals died in the Australian wildfires. 3 billion.
And at least-
Different species of animals, not like all kangaroos, of course.
How
but
many
like,
humans?
I don't know. Like, not people get more upset when dogs die than when humans die. It's just a fact.
It depends on the race.
What are you saying? Humans don't matter?
Hey, fuck humans, man. I'm looking at this little guy. You little rapist. Stop fucking those teddy bears. Yeah, he's feeling pretty humid in here.
The wildfires were pretty bad though. Apparently, if you could see the fire,
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. The
the
guy upstairs has dogs for a month at a time and stuff.
But apparently, if you could see the fire, you're already fucked. Like, if you could see the fire, the heat wave was already too close to you, where you couldn't get out.
Really?
And yeah, it wasn't like, oh, you know, like I can see it. There's maybe a chance of me getting away, so it's like you're already done. You might as well just accept it. And that's like a truly fucking horrifying thing, man. Like
Same thing
that's a
with
Black Mirror episode once again.
When I was a kid, when the tsunami hit, not fucking that place in 2004.
Oh, fucking, was it Japan?
No, it wasn't Japan. Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka?
When the tsunami hit in Sri Lanka, the huge tsunami in 2004, there was like a montage on the news that showed a little girl fucking running away from a beach, like, you know, the last one on the beach.
Oh,
just
yeah,
because
yeah.
they like, but it was just like, it was just a news montage of like, that was probably a girl in like Vancouver, BC, because I'm watching local news, and talking about in their freaking montage, and then oh no, and then fucking, I remember I told my dad that like, for some reason my memory created in my brain I thought that like the wave hit the second she was on shore, and I tried to convince my dad that I saw like a video on the news of a little girl that just escaped the tsunami.
Oh.
Like she ran inside and then the tsunami hit and she was safe. And my dad was like, nah, the wave goes at 800 kilometers an hour, man.
You're
And I
done
was
for.
like, yeah, exactly. If you see it, it's already hitting you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no. I saw a little girl. She ran inside and then the wave hit. And then he was just like, no.
No, there's some fucking freaky deaky natural disaster videos. Like tornadoes fucking scare me.
Yeah,
Like-
there's some there's like some videos I saw from like the Japan tsunami.
Oh yeah.
That shit, like literally like just entire cities.
It looks
just
like
fucking
oh,
moving.
yeah.
Like that shit was
Well,
so
they can
insane.
it can knock down
Fukushima.
skyscrapers.
Yeah,
It
oh,
can
yeah.
knock down buildings.
It's straight out of a fucking horror movie, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking.
And the thing is, I don't know why we haven't ever talked about this on a podcast, but we're due for a natural disaster. We're overdue.
Oh, yeah.
People have been
I don't like
saying
that
this,
opinion,
people
man.
have been
I don't
saying
like that.
this.
You don't think it's true? No, dude.
It's been like 40
I mean, we
years,
are a little
man.
biased.
It's been like
It
longer
could be.
than that,
It could
actually.
be 40 years. It could be another 300
No.
years.
People have been saying it. For
It's
like
gonna
40 years,
happen
like,
though.
It's
Like,
It's
we're-
gonna happen.
We're supposed
You
to have an
preach
earthquake.
disaster, you might be the disaster.
I feel like
bring it down to the tectonic plates.
What if-
you know it's
What
gonna
if the Juan de Fuca plate is the anomaly? Like every single plate, you know, that like comes together, there's like
What the fuck?
natural disasters in that area. What if the Juan de Fuca plate is just like an anomaly?
Maybe it's just a giant turtle, and it's like the plate is his back.
We talking
and
geology?
and he's stretching or something. And he's like, don't worry, BC, you're fine.
This ain't Japan, man. This ain't anatomy.
We getting into some geology talk right here. The tectonic plates. The one Fuka plate. I'm not familiar. Which one is that again?
It's the one by It's the one like right outside Victoria. It's like the closest one.
It's the one near
Okay, we did the one Fuka hike. So.
Yeah.
But the earthquake that's supposedly gonna happen is gonna be a 9 point something on the Richter scale.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, okay.
But like 40 years
Not
ago,
to
they
give
were saying
away
it was
our
gonna be a 7
location,
point
but
something,
we are on the
People
west
just get
coast
scared.
of North
People just get
America.
scared.
It is something. It is something definitely to think about though, because
Well,
we've had little tremors. We've had little tremors. Remember back in like 2 years ago, there was that one big,
like 20, no,
big little
2016 or something?
3-second shock. Like I was in my bed when that happened, and it felt like I was on a waterbed.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
But it was 3
tiny
seconds.
Earthquake 3 years ago.
But if that's
Now,
a
we haven't
tiny
had
earthquake,
anything
imagine what a 9 would be, dude. That
I mean,
I know. What would you do?
what would I do?
Yeah, earthquake situation. Everything's fucked.
well, it depends where you
What
are.
would you do?
I mean, we probably
Make a
should
fucking
work,
podcast before we
right?
go.
Just
Upload
Get everyone
episode
together.
2 at least.
Still produce podcasts. Let it be the last remaining source of human information.
I need to take it out. You want to put it on pause and go pee?
Well, our episode's pretty much coming to an end here.
Coming to a close. Feet Marleau.
On
the most
disaster
annoying.
and fucking.
On
What do you
barking.
do before you die? Last closing segment. You're on a desert island. You can bring 3 things. What do you bring?
Wait. What's the premise here? Do you want to exit the island or do you want to chill there?
like you have to stay there. Or
You have to stay there or you have to survive there.
Whatever you want.
do you have to stay on that island?
3 things.
You can try to escape, but you're not gonna manage.
Corona.
Okay.
Coronavirus.
Corona.
And then Rona the store. You better shut your fucking ass up, you little bitch.
As much hard whiskey as you'll allow me.
Just a fucking like parts
A
of the
bottle of
Caribbean.
rum,
Just
As-
fucking.
As much of that.
a gun with a bullet.
all three of those fucking wishes of what I would want into just as much whiskey as you can give
Yeah,
me.
just a whiskey, a nice meal, and a gun to shoot myself.
Probably bring like a speaker, a hammock, and some change of socks or something. Like
I would. My real answer, like as much weed as I could possibly bring, a bong,
some
and my
watermelon.
phone with unlimited Wi-Fi
Oh, that, yeah, if we're
and
talking about,
unlimited charging.
if we're talking
If,
about,
if,
you gotta bring up a couple seeds then, not even weed, man.
did you just start playing?
Just start planting, start growing, man. Just start farming. Bring up a couple of fucking blueberry bushes, you know.
Yeah.
Blueberry bushes and fucking weed, man.
Dude,
It's
that's like 1/2 weed. You smoke the weed, then you eat the blueberry. Dude, you're a fucking genius, man. Like,
All right. Well, that concludes our episode for the podcast.
you're gonna
Thanks
give us your
for-
answer, Mantis.
Oh yeah. So a putter, a driver,
And a basket.
Hey guys,
and a basket.
don't mistake it. We're not talking about golf. We're talking about frisbee golf.
We're talking about
For
disc
all.
golf.
Real man
The
golf.
real golf.
And remember, kids, fashion does kill little kids.